Hello and welcome to the Lake Clear Lodge and Retreat in our Old World Eatery kitchen. Once again, I'm going to show you some simple but real food recipes that you can cook in your own kitchen. I love sharing with you some simple recipes that you can make in your own kitchen with just a few ingredients and very little time. And today I'm going to be showing you another variation of the Rosti. So a Rosti can be a number of different dishes. Before I've showed you how to make a fish Rosti, which is shredded potato, onions, and spices where we wrap the fillet right inside. This is going to be totally different. I want you to think omelet and think pizza. What possibly could go inside an omelet and what possibly could go on top of a pizza, and that's what we're going to create. So the options are really limitless. So once again with Rostis, there's a million different variations you can do. For this time, I'm going to do more of like a personal pan Rosti because I want to top it the way I want it. We're making dinner tonight, and instead of pizza, we're going to have Rostis, and there's 4 of us, so we're all going to make our own Rostis and top them the way we want. This type of thing would be real fun for a party. And especially nice about this is when you're using potato, you're not using pizza dough. So it can be a gluten-free idea that you can use just as if you were having a pizza party. You could also use a very large pan like this. A little trickier to flip over, but that's okay. And when I show you this one, I'll show you if you mess up, if you're trying to turn over a really big Rosti, you can just kind of pat the potato right down and it'll still work, so no worries. But you can use a larger pan like this. I do this sometimes when I'm doing breakfast Rostis, and I make one big Rosti and cut it into you know, pizza pie shapes, just like a pizza or a regular pie. So you could do a larger pan like this as well. Okay, so now we'll make our Rosti base, which is really like a big hash brown. Really, that's what it is. So I've peeled some potatoes here, some nice organic local potatoes. And all we're going to do is shred them on a shredder side. If you really wanted to, you could do a bunch of potatoes and do them in a food processor shredder or whatever you'd like. So really the base is just potatoes, spices, and onion. So I've got, you know, shred some potato, and I'm just going to shift my pan back and forth off my heat so it gets a little hot when we put it in, but not too hot while I'm working here. Okay. So again, some onion. I like to use Spanish onion because it's not too strong. This is actually an organic red onion, which isn't too strong as well, so I'm using some of that. And then our binder ingredients, a nice organic egg. We're going to place that right in the bowl. And this is a nice, beautiful orange color. And I'm going to mix that right in, because if I got called away from this or anything happened that I didn't quite finish this off right away, my potatoes would brown. So I'm going to mix that right in. And then I'm going to show you the ingredients I have. And this you can do just about anything. So I'm just going to show you what I've laid out tonight as soon as I put this in the pan. Okay, so what I'm going to do is season our potato base, our hash brown, and then show you the ingredients I have on top while that's cooking. So here in front, I have a little bit of salt, some wonderful pink Himalayan salt. I'm going to put in there a little bit of binder. Again, if you could use regular flour, this happens to be tapioca flour because that's what's going to make it gluten-free. Let's see, the nice part about the Rostis, once again, is that you can use turmeric, a nice way to get turmeric spice into your dishes without doing a curry or something like that. A little bit of pepper maybe. If you wanted it spicy, you could put a little bit of cayenne pepper in. I have that there. You could use Hohmeyer, really anything. You can put parsley in at this stage. You can put anything in your potato. A little dill would be nice, maybe right in the potato. But we're going to mix up what we have here. And again, that turmeric's going to give it a nice golden color as well. Another spice that I like to use is cumin. And what I do is keep a coffee grinder, a small coffee grinder around for my spices. So you can, if you have whole spices and want to grind them up right away, you get to grind them up. And the benefit is a bunch of things. Is also the smell. It's wonderful when you cook with. Plus keeps all those oils and aromatics right there. So now I'm going to put the potato into the pan. Now in the pan I have a little shortening. And what I mean by shortening is Today, since I roast duck as well and have some beautiful duck fat, I use that. Since it's potato, I'm using some duck fat. You could use real butter. You could use coconut oil. So you can do a variety depending on what your diet preferences is and also the taste. And I'm going to put the potato in here just about, you can really make it as thin or as thick as you want, as long as you've got it cooking through, but maybe a ½ an inch or so. And that's going to cook as I tell you about the ingredients. Okay, so again, you can have a variety of ingredients on your Rosti. Now you don't want to put them on right away because you want that hash brown to cook. You want to flip it and then put your ingredients on. And then as the bottom cooks there, your veggies will get a little bit warm, or your cheese will start to melt or whatever. And then after that, you put it in the oven to melt your cheese and you're good to go. So I had to put a variety out just to show you just the changes, and you can do tons more than this. What I like to do is also put sliced tomatoes on top just before my cheese. Now I don't have any fresh tomatoes, so I did bring out some tomato sauce, which you can do, which would make it more like a pizza. I tend to like to make it more like a true Rosti that might not have that. So I've got some veggies. I've got kale bits. I have some broccoli that I already sauteed up, so it's partially cooked. You don't want it too uncooked, or you'll be crunching on your broccoli. And broccoli you really should cook ahead of time anyway, and it might not quite finish in the oven or on top. I have a couple of cheeses here, which will be the last thing to go on, is first the veggies and then tomatoes if you have them, cheese on top so it can melt on just like a pizza. But I have some beautiful local mozzarella, and I also have a spicy jack cheese that's a raw milk cheese. I have some greens here. They're called power greens, so it's a little bit of kale leaf, a little bit of spinach in there. And then I also have some green peppers here. What makes it really pretty is if you have the green peppers, the red peppers, and the orange peppers, and the yellow peppers, you can chop those up as fine or as coarse as you'd like. As many colors on your Rosti as possible to get more nutrients, but it's all in your taste. And then I also have some shredded carrots over here. And then last but not least, I'm going to put some pork on it. So I have some ground pastured pork over here. You could, again, have any type of meat. You could even use bacon. You can use wurst. You could even use ground beef, whatever meat you'd like. Pepperoni, of course, if you'd like. So that's all the choices that I have here. And you can come up with tons of others, whatever in your kitchen, in your refrigerator. And that's the nice part about this. It's really economical. You can use as little or as much as you want of anything, and it can be for any meal. Okay, now that your potato's cooked enough to think you're going to be able to turn it over, you're going to see some brown edges. It's going to stay together. What you want to do, the easiest way to flip, is loosen it up right around the edges and then go back and forth and make sure that it slides as one piece. Now I've got a wider spatula here so that I can flip it over, but I'm going to get underneath the most part that I can and kind of tilt so you're not totally lifting up and over, but kind of tilting and sliding and then turning that over. Now, if something happened where your potato, this happened to go kind of nicely in the pan, but if something happened that your potato flopped over, you didn't quite make it, then just push it all back together just as one nice hash brown patty. It's not really going to matter. If you're serving it in a cast iron pan like this, it's going to be together anyway. If you're making it in a larger pan like this, it'll still push down, and you can still kind of take it around the edge and slide it right out on a big platter. Okay, so now you can top it any way you want as it's kind of cooking, and I have the oven on. I'm going to go put it in the oven as well. And let's see, I'm making mine, so mine might have a little bit more greens on it than somebody else's. So I want a little bit of broccoli, a little bit of kale. I'm not so big on green peppers. I love the other colored peppers, but not so big on green peppers, so I'm not going to do that. Since I don't have my tomatoes, I'll put a little bit of carrot in there. And since I do like the pork, I'm going to put some on here. You could obviously make this a vegetarian entree if needed. The other variation is you actually could make it dairy-free. If you needed to, you could use the egg substitute. Okay, so now there's a bunch of ingredients on there that I've chosen. I'm going to take some of my pepper jack cheese for a little bit of spiciness. I like to mix my cheeses because they melt at different textures as well. Here's the mozzarella, which is typically a pizza cheese, so it's nice and gooey after it melts. And put that on top. And now once you kind of guess that your bottom is done, you'll see it kind of the edges on the outside. It'll be bubbly if you have it on a medium or medium-high heat. Then we can go put it in the oven. Okay, so now I'm back with the Rosti. It's been in the oven a little bit, so the cheese is melted and it's nicely bubbling. You could put it under a broiler as well. So now you can even serve this right in the pan so it'll stay nice and hot while you're eating it. You could also slip it out right onto a plate as well and cut it into, even this size, you could cut into small pieces to use as an appetizer. And there you have a Rosti. Have fun with it. Thanks for coming out to our Old World Eatery Kitchen at the Lake Clear Lodge. If you'd like to see more about our resort or more videos on our cooking videos, see our website.